Welcome to another video. In this episode, what's the best advice you've ever received? No one cares. That's actually the advice. The vast majority of people are more concerned about going about their own days and doing their own things. I kept being too socially conscious of myself around others, believing that every move I was making was being monitored and judged all the time. But the reality was that, just like me, everyone around me is just focused on themselves and what they were doing, and not at all others. And if anyone did anything out of the ordinary or embarrassing, we all forgot about it the next day. So once I realized this, my social anxiety essentially disappeared after a month, and I was far more comfortable in my own skin. 3 rules from a great aunt. Go to the restroom while you have a chance. If there's a seat available, sit down. If someone offers you a breath mint, take it. If you ask, they might say yes. They might also say no, but if you don't ask, it's always a no. So ask. Not making a decision is making a decision. As someone who struggles with indecisiveness, this has been an important one. It's easy to get wrapped up in analyzing options, especially what could go wrong. Sometimes the decision paralysis is worse than the consequences of a suboptimal choice. Look after your back. You will be sorry in later years if you don't, and it's much easier to look after it now than try to fix it later. Doing something imperfectly is better than not doing it at all. The best advice I ever saw was from Bo Burnham on a talk show. Conan O'Brien asked the standard question, "What advice would you have for other young people who want to pursue their dreams like you?" He responded, "Well, my advice for you would be to take a deep breath and give up. I got to where I'm today purely because of luck. All these celebs today like Taylor Swift telling you to be yourself and follow your dreams. It's like saying liquidize your assets, buy Powerball tickets, get rich. It works. It doesn't work. 10 years ago I was just a dumb, skinny white kid who didn't know what he was doing. Now the only thing that's changed is I'm famous. Just do whatever you want, and if you get lucky and hit it rich, then that's great. But it probably won't happen." Dump her back. My first love left me for another guy. I was visibly depressed, and my granddad asked, "What's wrong with you?" And I told him. He responded, "Dump her back." I was bewildered. WTF does that mean? Then, a few months later, girlfriend got dumped by the new guy and pleaded with me to take her back. It got to the point of her stalking me. I stood firm and dumped her back. While driving one day, I was pissed that someone cut me off when I had the right of way. My great grandfather told me there's a lot of dead people who had the right of way too. I never forgot that advice. It may not be the best advice ever, but it always stuck with me. $100 isn't a lot to have, but it's a lot to need. Don't let the perfect become the enemy of the good. When you meet a girl, look her in the eye, smile big, and just say hello. I was an awkward teen, and after a small test sample, I'll be go to hell if it didn't work. Assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups. If you have little kids, triple sheet their beds alternating with full-size waterproof pads. So, pad, sheet, pad, sheet, pad, sheet. In the middle of the night, when you have work in the morning, and they wet the bed or throw up, or get a nosebleed, pull up one layer, toss it into the laundry, and put the kid right back to sleep. Also, if anyone in your house isn't feeling well, give your kid a bucket or something next to their bed in case they wake up feeling sick. No one likes to clean up a trail of vomit from the kid's room to the parent's room in the middle of the night. When no one's got your back, move your fucking back. You're the only person who has to be with yourself 100% of the time, so start liking yourself and who you are. When someone does something that hurts you, it can be attributed to 2 possible things, some form of ignorance or some sort of malice. Get really good at figuring out which one it was when someone hurts you, and be willing to forgive more often. if it was ignorance, and be willing not to forgive more often, and remove people from your life, if it was genuinely malice. You'll be amazed at how much happier and more fulfilling life is when you forgive those who deserve it, and when you cut loose those who do not. Learn to differentiate between the things that are in your control and the things which are not. Don't focus on the ones that aren't. This is paraphrased from something Ali Brosh wrote. Don't try to reason your way out of your depression, because you are trying to use the organ of your body that is not working to fix itself. Depressive reasoning feels more secure and correct than any other, which is why it's so hard to let go of. But it's just your own brain telling you lies. I read once, I think someone's parent told them there are a lot of dead squirrels who couldn't make a decision. That has stuck with me for a long time. You can increase the number of neuropathways in your brain by doing things you've never done before. Treat others how you want to be treated. Pretty easy, that one. Life is not, has never been, nor will ever be fair, easy or cheap. Anyone who says differently is trying to sell you something. You live with the pain of either discipline or regret. Don't go broke trying to look rich. Bees don't waste their time explaining to flies why honey is better than shit. Grandpa. A mentor once told me, we assume people's intention when they do something, but we always want people to understand our intent when we do something. It basically leads to lots of miscommunications and resentment. Take time to see why someone is doing something instead of, mostly, assuming the worst. You can do everything right and still lose. If they'll cheat for you, they will cheat on you. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. I can't choose my favorite, so here's a couple. If you do it right the first time, you won't have to do it again. Don't cut corners. It doesn't cost anything to be nice. Sure, it might cost you a couple extra seconds to hold the door and smile at someone, but that might be a bright spot in their day. Everyone knows something you don't. It's impossible to know everything, so why not learn from someone else who does have knowledge you don't have? Don't care about things that don't care about you. Carries over to jobs, relationships, just about everything. You're not responsible for what other people expect from you. Don't wish time away. The less you give a fuck, the happier you'll be in life. Really good advice, at least for me anyways, lol. Never do something for someone that they can do for themselves. Holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. If you liked this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more content.